She had a fantastic, remember she had mentioned earlier about the scissors part of the safety video? It was such a good explanation of what that was for her, and if you don't mind, you said you're willing to, I hope you're still willing to.
I just was going to say that I was processing why that brought such a strong reaction in me, the scissors, the danger. Well, then I started thinking, my mom growing up was a seamstress, and people would bring material and she would make them a dress or whatever they want. And we lived in a small place, and the scissors were really a big source of stress for us. Don't touch the scissors, you're gonna get hurt. That's my scissors, this is for her. And we had really one pair of scissors that were really expensive that she needed for her work. So when she saw the scissors, it was a source of stress for me. Oh, don't touch, be careful, don't touch the scissors. So I shared that with him because I thought it was an interesting story that I have towards scissors.
It really is.
Yep.
It's that piece that you can connect to a stressor in your past. So even though it was otherwise a pleasant video, right? Did you feel
Right.
okay? That little detail for you was in your body connected the scissors to stress and don't touch and danger. And so when you saw that, even though you were in a good place, now you know that this was based on something from the past. So the next time you see the scissors, hopefully you'll have less of a trigger for you. But that was a safe example. Thank you for sharing that. Does that make sense? Get that.
I also learned that there's part of the brain, in the brain stem, we hold implicit memory. So like pre-verbal, from 0 to 3, you have memory that an event trigger that implicit memory.
Yeah.
You have a similar response.
And a lot of times it's not even the thing or the object or whatever, but it's just your body holds the memory of the state that it had to shift to survive. And a lot of this is all brainstem stuff. I'm not going to go into like brain stuff. A lot of this we're doing body stuff, but really the body sends signals up to the brainstem. The brain sends signals down to the brainstem. This is where all this takes place, and all these body decisions are made of flight, fight, shutdown. Not decisions, but sequence of events. It's all brainstem. And so it's huge, absolutely huge. All right, so the first state we have to talk about is safe and social. This is ideally where we all spend most of our time, but that's just not the reality of life usually. It is the ventral vagal branch of from the brainstem. It is the newest autonomic system on an evolutionary scale, which is social regulation. Mammals have this. I don't think any other species has this besides mammals. Being safe and social, this means the body can facilitate health, growth, and restoration. Instead of using resources for flight or fight, that we're optimizing our use of resources. The body will be in a healthier place generally if we're in a safe and social state. Survivors of trauma have higher rates of other problems. We've all heard of ACEs. Have you, yes or no? Raise your hands. Okay. All right, we might do some ACE stuff later on. I'll save it for the end, but basically, this directly connects to ACEs. So the survivors of trauma who are stuck in that defensive state of flight, fight, or shutdown, they are redirecting necessary resources for health and growth and restoration. They're diverting those towards flight, fight, or shutdown. Social, they have more social, emotional, and behavior problems. They have, because they're in a defensive state. They have shorter lifespan, higher rates of suicidality, of course, diabetes, but also the physical things, diabetes, heart disease, lung cancer, autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, all kinds of stuff that they are redirecting necessary resources to defensive states, which means they're not optimized for health and growth and restoration. So if you're in a safe and social place, saliva and digestion are stimulated, my mouth keeps going dry because I'm pretty sympathetically activated. I'm not 100% in my safe and social place, so my mouth keeps going dry. Frustrating. Heart rate slows down when you're in a good place, safe social, and you're able to take full breaths. So, especially belly breaths. Feeling safe is absolutely crucial in mammals. Like I said, it facilitates general health, body function, hormone release. And I think for the school environment, what we're really concerned about is the cognitive functions, learning, productivity, critical thinking, problem solving, and also social engagement amongst peers, other students, and teachers and staff. Mutual play, eye contact, and safe touch. These are not accessible if you're in a defensive state. That's it. That's the end of it. So ideally we want students to be in a safe and social place. And ideally, we have classroom environments that are designed for that, but the reality is that I don't think school is designed for this. School is designed to dispense information, you take it in and spit it back out. A lot of schools are simply not designed for being a safe and social state. The perception of safety overrides the actual environmental safety. All the defensive states can be triggered, even if there is no environmental danger. So the kids who come into class, if they have a classroom that is generally safe, calm, strong, positive, loving teacher, so that the environmental safety is there, but their perception of safety and their ability to be in a safe state and hold it overrides the actual safety. Okay, so safety. We efficiently detect cues in the state of being safe and social. We detect accurately, for the most part, actual danger cues. But there are things that are linked to past events, like I'll use the pair of scissors as an example again. Scissors are just scissors. They have no meaning to them, they're just scissors. But if they're combined with past stress, it can still trigger a neuroception of danger, right? But for the most part, we detect cues of safety in this state. We instantaneously socially engage with other people. We don't really choose to socially engage, do we? Like we can't, I guess we can sort of power our way through it, but it's fake, right? It's not genuine, that's different. This is where you feel safe being closer to someone, where you can give a hug and feel safe. That's different than just hugging a relative because you have to. You know what I mean? Or I have to hug my husband or whatever. That's different. That's a lot different. Like I feel like I have to, or that's my cultural or perception of things. I have to do these things. We're talking about actual safety where you want to, and you feel that pull to go close to someone and maybe hug them or give a kiss or whatever, or make eye contact. That's a big one. You don't choose to make eye contact, do you? I mean, you kind of can force your way to do it, but it feels extremely uncomfortable, doesn't it? Facial expressions, you don't choose to smile, you just do. That's why we say instantaneously socially engage. Physical gestures and posture, more relaxed. But if you're in a safe and social state, you can do that. You can lay down and go to sleep. You can lean backwards and feel okay with it. You can hear human voice and tune out other noises. So probably for the most part, you're tuned to my voice. Hopefully my voice is safe for you. There's all a bunch of stuff going on. There's probably air on that we're just not noticing. We don't attune to those things because we feel safe and we're able to tune out other stuff. Anybody ever go to concerts or club or something? I don't do that, but clubbing or concerts? Raise a hand. If you've been to one of these places, when you're there, you feel pretty good, right? Like you're kind of pumped up, but do you hear your human voice or not? Like you can still attune to your friends and like maybe you have to yell, but you can still hear the voice, right? There's tons of noise going on. Because you're in that safe and social place enough to where you can attune to human voice. And the other thing is prosody. Prosody is the ability to use your voice in different ways to convey your message. So like right there I went message, like I picked my voice up to accentuate the word message. Or when you ask a question, you can use your voice to indicate I'm asking a question. Up and down, like so stress, pitch, intonation, pauses, volume. When you're in a safe and social place, you have a lot more flexibility with your voice. And you can use your voice to go deeper and convey like scary, or to go higher and convey like I'm a safe person, although I'm not in my complete safe and social state, so I'm not completely there. But prosody is something you only have access to when you're in a safe and social place. That I heard. All right, so let's watch this clip, couple minutes. Tell me who is using prosody and who is not using prosody. Who's using prosody? Simone, right? Her voice, very sing-songy, all over the place. She could convey exactly what she wanted to. And at one point she even says, sounds like a pretty good deal. Like she dropped her voice to indicate it's serious. But then the other point, she was very up and down, right? Who does not have prosody? Teacher obviously was very monotone, very flat. There's another student, there's a boy in the back, I think his name was Anderson or something. And he had to have his name said a couple times. And he goes, here! And he goes, so he was not taking full deep breaths. He rushed out his words, here! It was very deep and aggressive. He was probably more like a fight state. But only Simone there had access to her vocal prosody, which means she was in a safe and social state. The experience of safety, the world is safe, it's fun, it's peaceful, you can soothe and be soothed. Calm, happy, meditative, engaged, attentive, active, interested, excited, joyful, relaxed. How often do we exist in this place? You don't have to say, but just rhetorically, how often do we actually exist in this safe and social place? And if we do, how often do we stay there? You might have some moments like watching the dancing Pomeranian. You might have gotten there for a little bit, right? But hearing noises in the background, these things bring us out of our safe and social place. So getting there and staying there is not easy exactly. Sorry for that. The negative is interpreted as neutral or unimportant if you're in a safe and social place. So the kid in the class upstairs, it's kind of weird. They're having a bad day. It's not about me. I'm not in any danger. They have their own stuff going on. They're having a bad day. Or if my boss is yelling at me, I probably won't stay in my safe and social place, but I might be there enough to be like, you're having a bad day. It's not about me. You got your own stuff going on. Or if I didn't get a good grade, I can improve my grade on the next test. I can do better. I believe in myself. What do we need to get to safety? Ongoing opportunities for safe interactions with other people. Not just one dancing Pomeranian video, that doesn't do it. We have to have ongoing interactions with safe other people. Ideally family, ideally school. This is where kids spend their days with family or school. Ideally, that's where it's coming from. And same thing actually with therapy, that's what, once a week maybe? Maybe, depending on what setting you're in, and but that's once a week. And many of my kids say that when I'm with you, I feel good, I feel safe, I'm motivated. As soon as I walk out of here, it goes away. So we have to deal with that.
So I don't know if this will I don't know why this is going on in my head, but so when we think about safety, and we think about the physical component of safety and the emotional component of safety, is that all perception of someone's history? What
it has a lot to do with it, yeah, of course.
If it's going to be...
This is one thing that
what are we paying more attention to, the emotional safety or the physical, or both?
What's the difference? So that's what I really want to challenge everybody here is when you felt joy and I said, what does that feel like? It's the same thing. We call it joy, but I'm asking you to label your body. Where did you feel that? How did you feel that? Give it a color, give it a texture. And all these things go hand in hand. Feeling happy, I have a bodily experience of feeling happy, right? Or feeling scared, I feel that somewhere. So emotional versus physical, it's the same thing. It's just, can you describe it further? Can you get more in depth and describe what it feels like to be disappointed? Like earlier I said that my slides didn't work, I felt like it was pulled down. I felt that in my body, down here. And so that's and this is really easy to do in therapy is, I used to do a lot of this sort of naming feelings, which is good, but now I take it to the next step, but where does that live in your body? Where do you feel that fear? And kids are fantastic, they'll scan their body, and you can coach them, but they'll say here. And then we kind of notice that. And it's a much different experience to just say, well, I feel scared, or I feel disappointed, or I feel whatever. It's it lives here, and what's the experience of it living there? What does it look like? What does it feel like? And and bringing that level of mindfulness to it, try more out here. So basically, there's no difference.
So as soon as they do that, are you able to see where they're at with that ladder, on that ladder? Yeah,
and as we go through the states, there's physical indications of where they are at on their polyvagal ladder, as long as they're not really good at masking it. But if they're not making eye contact with me, either I'm not a safe person, well, either way, they're not in a safe place. And maybe that's because of me, maybe it's because of history. And usually it's a history, I feel like I'm a pretty safe person. So when they come in and they're not making eye contact with me, that tells me that they're just not in that system. So there are lots of cues, their posture. If they're sitting upright and forward, that means they're activated for some reason. If they're not kicking back and sitting in a more relaxed posture, that tells me they're not in a safe and social state. Does that answer your question? Mm-hmm. All right, so what else is needed for safety? You need reliable relationships based on reciprocity. So reliable, you know they're going to be. You know they'll be there when you wake up. You know that they're going to be teaching your class the next day. So predictability and safety go hand in hand. And reciprocity, that means give and take, mutual, back and forth. Empathy, being able to understand each other. You have to have empathy and also compassion as well. You need time spent with safe people doing shared activities. My friend Mercedes and I, we're co-workers, but we do the podcast together. We have this shared activities. We're both passionate about Polyvagal Theory. We do the presentation for our school district a number of times. So, but we're safe people sharing an activity. We're doing something together. This could be playing a sport, it could be doing a podcast, it could be learning in class together, or doing small group work together here. But you need safe people doing shared activities. Play, shared work. You need low stress and environmental safety to be in your safe and social state. So even though I'm primarily my safe and social state, day in, day out, there's certain areas of Stockton where I'm going to drop down the ladder. I think that's just the reality of it. And even in my own home, I've heard gunshots around my home. So, but for the most part, I have a safe neighborhood. But like that left an imprint on me, right? But going to work, different school environments have different cultures, have different climates to them. And when you walk in that gate, it's a significantly different feel than the next school. Does anyone go to multiple schools and have that experience? If you really feel like this one, oh yeah, I feel lighter. I feel like I can connect and talk with the front desk. The next school you go to is like, what happened? Like, this is significantly different. I feel this kind of icky feeling, or I feel like no one's paying attention, or I feel discarded or something. So you need low stress and environmental safety. You need the perception of safety. Even if you're not 100% safe, if you feel like you're safe enough, then that might help you get to your safe and social state. Safety is not always safe though. This state of being connected can be extremely unfamiliar to traumatized individuals, or people basically who live down the ladder, and trigger a shift back to fight. So if they get up to their safe and social state, I see this in therapy a lot, where they get up to that state enough, and they do these little glances of eye contact toward me, like they're feeling me out, like they'll do eye contact, look away, eye contact, look away. Because holding eye contact is extremely uncomfortable for them. It's very vulnerable. It requires trust, which might be new for them. And they might be betrayed, all the stuff they've been through in the past. So getting to safety is one thing, but holding it and staying there is a much different thing. And it can actually send you right back down to fight. Here's some mammals that are in a safe and social state, connected with each other. If you see pictures of reptiles and birds, they don't really do this. They kind of are just there. But mammals actually connect with each other. We have facial muscles that indicate safety. We have vocal prosody to indicate safety. We can use safe touch. All right, in your small groups, when are you in your safe and social state? And what brings you out of your safe and social state? It is, yeah. But do you notice that if you do go to a beach or a wooded area, that do you notice a shift?
Yeah, just getting out and away.
Yeah, beach for me is a huge one. If I'm on the sand and the sounds of the wave, I'm just good. I'm glad you brought that up, thank you. Yeah, but being in the woods, doesn't it just feel different?
Yeah.
And being at home, I feel, this is what I'll put to you is, I agree being at home is absolutely a safe, or should be a safe place. But do you feel safe, or do you feel protected? And those are different things, I think. And kids in gangs feel protected, but they're not in their safe and social state, right? So at home, I hope it's not a gang environment, but point is home is still stressful though, isn't it?
Yeah.
My kids, I love my kids, but they're kind of stressful sometimes. I love the heck out of them.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is that similar to, or has that anything to do with those who have been abused or traumatized and they go back to the abusers because it feels safe and it feels protected, yeah.
Absolutely. Or they're getting some sort of need met.
Yeah.
We did an episode on trauma bonding.
Oh, yeah.
Or a discussion we published, I think, a couple weeks ago. And trauma bonding, where you feel protected or something from another person, is it's not safety. You don't actually feel, from with an abuser. But does something about that person help you get out of your shutdown state? And then they abuse you, and it goes right back down into it, and then you come back up and go down. I think that's where the control, that psychological hold they have on you really comes from, is that you're depending on them to get out of your state, but they send you right back down, and then get you back up. Just like a drug, it helps me out in this moment, and I'm right back down, but now I'm associating that drug with relief and coming out my lab. So protected versus safe, and I really want you to notice throughout the day, when do it actually feel safe? Who does drawing or painting writing, singing, do those feel safe? I love drawing. I don't do as much as I used to, but I love drawing, and that's where I can really feel my state shifts. I can go from wherever I'm at, up the ladder, and at the end of it, I'm like, okay, I'm good. So do you notice the same thing?
I have some kids that, really get into the creative process, and a couple especially when they're really getting into whatever they're doing, whether it's just Play-Doh or, clay or whatever, they start humming or singing certain songs.
Yeah.
And,
There you go.
you can just tell that they're just like,
Yeah. If they're humming and singing, that means they have access to their safe and social state, enough to be able to use vocal processing. So that's an indication that they're in a good place. All right. How about bike riding, mountain climbing, or anything that you do that does it help you feel connected?
I dance, and there's days where because I'll go to dance classes on certain days in the week, and there's days where I'm just looking forward to that class, and I kind of thought that maybe it's just because I'm moving my body and my body's getting energy out, but I think now that I'm thinking about it, I feel very connected and safe in that class. I feel very accepted in my class.
Just the whole environment of the class.
In the community,
Yoga? Yeah, who does yoga? Do you feel a connection? Do you feel safe in those environments? It's not just the movement, it's all the pieces that go along with it, absolutely. And when you dance, when you do yoga, are you attaching mindfulness to it, or are you just moving around? Like, yeah, kids that we call ADHD and they're moving around, are they attaching mindfulness to it, or are they just moving around? So just moving around doesn't do a whole lot, but when you attach mindfulness to it, it can do a lot. It can help climb the ladder. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, it makes me sad for some of our kiddos who say school is the same.
Yep. Yeah, we hear that a lot, whether they will openly admit it or not, like it is. Yeah, it is very sad.
School should be a safe place, but they say home is not a safe place, like for many of us.
Absolutely. It's super sad. Take a deep breath. How did you, actually, before you read that, where do you breathe into? What do you notice? Do it again if you need to. What do you notice about your breathing? Do you breathe into your belly, into your chest, into your shoulders? Where does your breath go? Chest? Belly up? What do you think about it? Yeah, a lot of us who are not in our safe and social state, we breathe into our chest and our shoulders. I see this all the time with the kids I work with, or the parents I work with. And when you ask them to take a deep breath, it's all up here. You see their shoulders come up. Really, it's like this should come out, right? And when I ask them, no, like try it again, let's do your belly this time. It's a struggle because their circuitry is not, it's optimized for escaping or fighting, so they're breathing up here. So when I ask them to breathe in their belly, they grab on the arm rest and they're like because they're not used to it, but their circuitry is not built for that, and they oftentimes don't have any experience of safety and breathing calmly, so it really is a very new experience for them. So belly breathing, you breathe in through your nose, slight pause, slowly out through your mouth, especially on the exhale. Pretty standard stuff, right? And then trust in the next breath will come. Extending your exhale what happens is when you breathe inward, it actually uses your sympathetic nervous system. So your heart rate actually goes up a little bit. Any type of movement really will. So even breathing in. And when you breathe out, your parasympathetic kicks in, and that's where the calming safety comes in. So really extending your exhale is a way to kind of kick on that social engagement system. And the more you do it, the more practice you have, it'll become easier and easier. So we're gonna do a little piece of music here. This is something called chill hop. I have become in love with chill hop. It's hip hop, but no lyrics typically. This is a 24-hour live stream that plays of chill hop music. This does it for me. I want to know how you feel about it. So take a deep breath if you need to, and notice how you feel, like what comes up for you. This is live. I have no idea what they're going to play, but I trust this channel, so we'll see what happens. What did you notice about the music? How does this make you feel? Just slowing down, slow heartbeat. All the beat. Okay. Nice. What else do you notice about this? And it's different for everybody. No right or wrong answer, but like, how does this make you feel? Maybe this is a bad fit for you, that's fine.
I felt like with whatever that knocking was, like I wasn't able to relax, like I kept like,
It kind of keeps you up, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Do you hear the staticky sort of sound in the back?
Yeah.
What does that do for you?
Nostalgic.
It is, huh? But nostalgia has a feel to it. Or it can. For me, it's like, it can be. So for me, this is the beat. I like listening to this when I'm doing work. When I'm doing progress notes or working on the podcast and I have to type, this helps me just laser focus because it has a beat to keep me going. But that staticky sound, I like it a lot. My nervous system likes it a lot. And all the other sounds, and every now and then, like a bird will chirp here and there. So these keep me in a very safe and social place, but I'm also activated and I'm able to like laser focus on what I'm doing. I've started using this in therapy. Kids always have music. The teens I work with always have music on, earbuds in, and I'll ask them, hey, what are we listening to? And I have no idea what the heck it is. And I'll say, you know, like, how does that make you feel? And they go, well, it helps me focus. But really what it's doing, especially with like more like heavy metal, rap, hip hop, it keeps them up, but there's not the safety cues. So it keeps them motivated, and I guess that can help you focus. But if you're lacking the safety cues, and listen to the voices like in heavy metal, it's a lot of screaming and yelling. Listen to the voices in rap music, it's very deep. Jay-Z has like zero prosody in his voice, it's just very like, I have a hard time listening to his voice. But that's what the kids listen to. It's a lot of anger. So it keeps them motivated, I guess, but in all the wrong ways, in my opinion. So this has that flavor, and it keeps the momentum going, but it brings in safety cues of the music and like birds chirping and other sound effects that it puts in there. And so in therapy, I'll say, listen to this, and I'll put this on. And they like really slow down, and they go, oh. And it's this really cool like transition. You can see them working their way up the ladder, and they're like, oh, whoa. And they say, yeah, it feels kind of this and that, and we process it. And I'll say, well, now put your music back on. And they put that on, and they compare. This one keeps me going, but I'm not as calm. And then we go back to mine. So this is like pendulation, this back and forth kind of thing, but we can learn about the nervous system. So, and I'll say, yeah, it's called Chill Hop. You can find it on YouTube anywhere. And they're like, yeah, I might listen to this, outside of therapy. But, music is different for everyone. That works for me. I know it works for me to bring me to a good place, but also to feel focused and motivated and a little bit energized enough. But music affects everyone differently. And what I would ask you to do in therapy is, if you process this stuff with your kids, is notice like what music are you drawn to and why? Why do you like that music? What about that music speaks to you? How does it make you feel? Is it the singer's voice? Is it the instruments? I realized recently I like heavy metal music a lot. That helps me come out of my shutdown in a safe way. But I also noticed that my favorite band, Metallica, I like the lead singer's voice, the way he pronounces certain words. Like he has a very crisp sort of edge to the way he pronounces things. And my nervous system's just like, oh, it feels right. And so if I want to work my way up the ladder, I'll go there. And then eventually I'll go to something like Billie Eilish, is that her name? Is that her name? She has that song, the really popular song right now. Actually, I'm going to play it later on. No, it's Bad Guy. That Bad Guy song for me is flight mode. It's kind of creepy and like unsettled. And then I can go from there into chill hop. And I can use music to work my way up the ladder and be in my safe and social place. So check your phones. This should come up. Now finish the sentence. When I'm in my safe and social state, I am. Whatever that means to you. Do you have a question?
I just was gonna ask about if there's a certain music that is across the board very safe for our nervous system, or if it's really personalized.
I really think it's personalized, and I think it's very personalized. Country music, for some reason, people like it. I don't know. Does not do it. Does not do it. But in general, if you have music that gets you to sway back and forth, that's more of a safe and social place. If you have music that's making you bump up and down, or like forward, like think about headbanging with heavy metal music. It's all very aggressive, very fight state. So when I'm in my safe and social state, I am calm and focused, free, open, present, intentional, nurturing, I like that. Happy, peaceful, myself, loving. Can I get the idea? How often are we there? How often as therapists in the room with across from someone, how often are we there? It's not always like that, right? Especially if you work in an environment where there's tons of danger cues. Outside of my office at my school I work at, I hear all kinds of stuff. I hear footsteps, I hear teachers teaching, I hear things on the street, because that's on the other side of the wall. So there's all these things that are going to bring you down the ladder as therapists. Like, really, how often are we in our safe and social place? How often are we able to focus, be comfortable, be calm, be loving, be compassionate? Thank you, everybody, for answering. All right, you ready for flight fight? This is sympathetic nervous system, evolved in bony fish. Not super important. Now here's some images of flight fight. At the top we have a fight, very aggressive. You see the face has changed. It's no longer using a full range of like facial muscles. Now it's like angry. At the bottom, the lines who's running away from those wildebeest, whatever those things are. His eyes are wide. He's no longer using his facial affect. So the biology of flight fight, the body's being mobilized now. Your heart rate goes up, cortisol and adrenaline are increased, your limbs are now used for getting away or being aggressive. Metabolism goes up, you start sweating, and your muscles tense up. All of these have to do with survival. Sweating, if a predator grabs onto you, it's more likely to slip off, is the theory. Heart rate goes up to make sure that you have your blood pumping in order to run away or to use your strength. And like I said earlier, on a smaller scale, this is true of any type of movement. Even breathing in will actually increase your heart rate a little bit. Survival mode, pain tolerance increases to help with environment fighting. You're better able to scan the environment to find danger. That doesn't mean you're actually better at finding danger. That means you're better at scanning for danger. But someone who's in flight fight sees danger everywhere. It changes your perception of the world. So you're better at scanning, and you're really focusing in, potentially. More with fight. I think with fight state, you're very focused in on one thing in front of you. I think flight is more like everything's dangerous, very scattered, and not able to orient to safety or to a specific danger. Breathing becomes shorter and faster to increase your heart rate, stay mobilized. Faster rate of speaking since we're inhaling less. I'm speaking pretty quickly because I'm more sympathetically active right now. So think about the students in class who are better able to scan the environment for danger. What does that look like in class? Like, are they able to be comfortable in their chair and focus on the teacher? Or are they constantly scanning? Or the kids who are in more fight mode, are they focused on the teacher or are they focused on the kid that has a blank affect? Or the potential danger of coming, whoever else is going to come to school later that day. Ideally, we want to use fight mode. This can exist without being actually aggressive and scary, without being actually wanting to harm someone. Think about the last time you were motivated to achieve something. Can you think of something? Or maybe taking a test to pass your MFT exam. If you're motivated, that feeling of motivation of this is my purpose, my direction, I'm going this way. You're safe and social, but you're also tapping into that aggression, which is a very safe way. That's fine. That's different than being in a pure fight state. We're now down the ladder. We're no longer in a safe and social. We're creating distance between ourselves and others. That's the point of this, is to create distance. If we're in a fight state, we push someone away. The point of that is not to continue pummeling them. The point is to push them away and then run away to danger. But we're also perceiving everyone else is now a threat. So if we're existing in fight, everyone's now a threat. We're not going to want to get close and sit in small groups, right? I like to be in the back. I'm good in the back. I feel very comfortable on my own in the back doing my own thing. I don't feel comfortable with small group work. I'm sorry to make you guys do small group work. Forced socialization does not work for someone in fight. They want space. You know what I mean? They want to have distance. They are no longer identifying or giving facial social cues. If you're in flight, your face goes pretty blank. You're more your eyes might go wide, but you're really looking for danger. Think about have you ever been in the dark and you hear something and you sort of freeze for a moment? Not freeze, but it's called a rest. And you, your eyes go wide, right? And you try to orient to what's happening, and everything just sort of stops. You're not smiling. You're not singing, you're not using this area because this area is now off limits. Like you don't have access to this stuff. All you have access to is eyes open wide, looking for danger, and that's it. In a true flight state, flight behavior. And now we're identifying neutral faces as a threat. If you're not giving me safe facial cues, I'm going to assume you're a threat because I'm already, that's my perception of the world is, my filter is now, I'm in constant danger. So if I can't get a smile from you or get a safe facial cue, gentle eye contact, I'm going to assume you're a threat. So blank faces. And like I said before, the kids that we work with, we probably hear this a lot. I hear this all the time. That person stared at me, like they were like staring for whatever reason. Someone in a fight state can't interpret that as the person's just whatever. To them, it's like, I'm in danger. I already feel like I'm in danger, and now I've located the danger. It's this person staring at me. And then hearing, your middle ear muscles turn off to better hear deep sounds or high sounds, deep sounds of like a predator growling or an avalanche in the distance. You're attuned to deep sounds, but also high sounds like someone screaming for help. Or someone screaming because they're running away from a predator, and now you can either go help them or run away yourself and get to safety. But you've lost your access to the middle range of vocal prosody, the whole mammalian, like human range of voice. You've lost access to hearing that accurately. So people in fight, they may mishear the teacher. Or they may hear them but not get the intent of what they're saying because they're not hearing the full range of the teacher's voice. Sarcasm does not go very well with people in fight. They're not able to detect the intention of the sarcasm. And that neutral, dry tone is a danger cue for them. And all they hear are the words, not the joke. Any questions about this so far? So the daily experience of someone who's in flight. So they're both sympathetic. Flight and fight are both sympathetic. It's the same state, just different behaviors for that state. And it goes down the ladder in order. So for flight, it's anxiety, fear, dread, being on guard, being hypervigilant. Any fidgeters in here? I like squeezing things. Foot tappers, leg shakers, pen clickers, any fingernail chewers. That's all just, your body's got this sympathetic energy and doesn't know what to do with it. So it does whatever it does. And if you're not mindfully attuned to that, it's just gonna keep doing it. For a fight, the daily experience of fight is anger, irritation, and aggression. Your muscles are tenser, clenched fists, blaming other people. For both of these, flat affect, wide eyes. Now with anger, it is more of like your eyebrows go inward. You're still using some facial muscles, but for the most part, flat affect, wide eyes, being very distracted, sitting upright or forward. Shallow breathing, breathing into your shoulders or chest, not hearing safe people, sensing danger everywhere, speaking faster and louder. Does that match a lot of the people that we're working with on some level? It is possible to come out of sympathetic state. Sympathetic energy is supposed to be released in a burst of large movement, like running, pushing, lifting, and fighting. That's what it's designed for. It's designed to push away a predator, then use your legs to run to safety and get with safe people and then go back to the top of the ladder. Unfortunately, the kids we work with we're not in the wild. So they can't exactly run away from the predator. They can't push away their parent who might be their danger. They can't do that. Even if they could, they can't get to safety. They're dependent upon other people, upon their parents or upon teachers to be safe people. So we get stuck in these states because we're not able to use it for what it's built for. It's built to use in a large burst of energy. You heard about the mom or dad that lifts up the car to save their kid. Huge sympathetic activation. They use it all at once. The kid gets safe. That's it. But we're dealing with people that are sort of saturated in danger and can't use that energy to get up to their polyvagal safe and social state.
I have a quick question. I've heard in the past, haven't looked it up myself, but they talked about for especially kids, if they're in that agitated, heightened state, that sometimes it's not good for them to do movements like punching a bag or punching a pillow, or then it keeps getting them amped up. So I've heard to move them away from that. But if I'm hearing this correctly, we could still do that and do it in a keep them safe to go up the ladder, or?
Yes and no, I guess. So you want to use the energy. How you use it is going to look different person to person. Punching a bag, is it using the energy to get to safety, or is it making you tired?
Okay.
Much different, right?
Okay.
So I have a 4-year-old, and what I've started doing with him is a very aggressive little boy, right? And he likes to wrestle a lot more than my daughter did. It wasn't an issue. But with him, he gets really aggressive and he wants to like play fight. So what I'll say is, oh, you got a ton of energy, huh? So he'll push my hands, and he'll use his upper body to push into my hands,
Yes.
and I push back. So we're still using that system, and it's a safe, appropriate way to use it. Otherwise, he'll hit. And I could give a punishment for that, or should I teach him an appropriate way to recognize his body, use it, and then climb up the ladder? And that's what happens is he'll do some pushing stuff, and I little by little I'll give in, and to help him feel the energy releasing and feel powerful in a safe way. And then we'll use our legs to run around or play, and then we kind of relax and hang out. And it's really just that simple. So I could say we'll go punch something, but is that really helpful? And is there a mindfulness attached to that? Legs are being used for escape. Like I said, arms, chest, shoulders for aggression. Now in therapy, I don't do touch. I don't do that stuff with clients. Not, in my opinion, not a great idea with a lot of people I work with. So what we can do is use fidgets. I love fidgets. And I have a basket of fidgets in my room at my school. And there's different options. There's like a Rubik's Cube. There's a fidget cube with like all the different sides that have like different little fidget things on them. I have squeezing things. I have bands that they can bend and whatnot. So they pick one, and I'll say, like, how does that one make you feel? Like, what's the experience of doing this to bring mindfulness to the fidget? And I say, that doesn't feel right. So we'll try another one. And it'll be a pulling thing. And they say, oh, I like that. Like, there's something about that I just kind of like. So let's keep doing that, but describe for me, what does it feel like in your hands? What does it feel like up here? And like in detail, what is the experience? And it's really cool because you'll see, little by little, they'll discharge that energy and get up to a safe and social place, just through fidgets. But it's mindfulness with the fidget. And being in a safe environment where you can do that. Doing that in class and pulling on things maybe is appropriate. Hopefully the teacher is okay with that. But a teenager might not want to do that in front of their peers. So it's about being in a safe environment with a safe person and attaching mindfulness to your energy discharge. All right, in your small groups, when are you in your flight and fight state? What brings you down the ladder? Just give you a little pep, you can do good things if you want to, but what brings you down the ladder?